A big part to Mario's 40th anniversary plan may have just leaked. Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we have something pretty substantial to get into. NBC Universal may have just leaked the title for the Mario movie sequel. In and of itself, this is a very big deal. It can tell us a lot about what we should maybe be expecting from the Mario movie, which we will be discussing here, but I believe this may go even deeper. I think this could be a very strong clue as to what Nintendo is planning for Mario's big 40th anniversary, and I think it's going to be something very substantial, so substantial that this could have to do with a variety of significant game releases early on in the Switch 2's life cycle. And no, I am not just talking about Mario Kart World. I think there's a lot more to this, including the next big 3D Mario. So stick with me here, there's a lot to get into. But before going forward, let me take this moment to point out, I am aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers by the time the Switch 2 launches on June 5th, so if you find yourself enjoying my content, your subscription would be appreciated. So here is what happened last night. NBC Universal, an official site, went out and started talking about all their different plans regarding entertainment, sports, and news offerings, and specifically with movies, they were talking about how they have a variety of movies that are planned to come out on their streaming platform, Peacock, immediately after theatrical release, and one of these movies is Super Mario World. That's not what officially the movie's being called right now. It's just the Super Mario Bros. Movie sequel. They haven't revealed the full-on title yet. But it may be the case from this very official NBC Universal press release or article that Super Mario World is indeed the title of the movie. And Nintendo probably is not happy about this, because immediately after everyone started noticing, they changed what they were saying on the site. They took away the Super Mario World title. It's not even there. They're not even mentioning the Mario movie anymore. It's quite shortened now. They actually took out other movies as well. Why did they take off other titles beyond just the Mario movie? Maybe because they decided it would not be a good idea to show off titles that don't have a final name right now. But there's a very big difference between saying Shrek and Minions for those particular movie series and Super Mario World. You could have just said Mario Movie 2 or Mario Movie Sequel or just Super Mario Bros. Movie. Instead, there's a little bit more flavor here. It's called Super Mario World. And clearly, some kind of mistake was made because they did take this down. It's no longer there. The question is, what kind of mistake is this? Did they make the mistake of just putting in some sort of random thing that they thought would be a great description for the Mario movie? Or did they accidentally leak what will actually be the title for the Mario movie? Given that the Shrek and Minions titles don't have any other sort of flavor, or they're just very basic sort of names for these movie series, and the Super Mario World one isn't, I'm thinking that this is actually perhaps what the movie may actually be called, or at least a tentative title. Perhaps it's not the final title, and so when Nintendo eventually reveals the movie, it might be different, but there's, I think, a pretty strong chance this is actually what the movie is going to be called. And if so, I think this would actually have huge implications for Nintendo's overall plan regarding Mario's 40th anniversary. But in order to understand all that, let's first dissect what this title might mean for the Mario movie itself. So it should be understood that Super Mario World is a very interesting name choice, because Super Mario World is already a name for a particular game. The Super Nintendo classic, Super Mario World, which was the first time we saw Yoshi. And we know at the end of the first Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out in 2023, at the end of the movie they had a teaser teasing the next movie, and it was a Yoshi egg hatching. Now this is extra interesting because there are already Yoshis shown off in the movie, but this one focused on this Yoshi egg. I don't think this is just one of many different random Yoshis, but the Yoshi that will be Mario's partner, perhaps basically like the same Yoshi from Super Mario World that was Mario's partner in that game. And so basically this title would further support the idea that Yoshi is going to be playing a significant role in this movie. But I think it also goes beyond that, because the name world implies something bigger, more vast. So there's going to be more of an adventure around the entire Super Mario world. They're going to dive even deeper into that. And with Yoshi now playing a more significant role to the story, Mario can use Yoshi as his mount to travel this world with more speed. Yoshi may be about to have his most significant role ever. And so I think these elements are important to keep in mind when considering what may be going on with Mario's 40th anniversary. So then, some of you may be wondering, what do you mean about a Mario 40th anniversary? What guarantee is there that there's going to be some sort of massive celebration with a variety of significant games coming out for Mario's 40th anniversary? Well, we have a significant history that supports this idea. Nintendo actually started having these big anniversary events for Mario 20 years ago, for Mario's 20th anniversary. And then for the 25th anniversary, things became a bit more significant because not only were they celebrating the 25th anniversary, they had a pretty big game release in Super Mario Bros. All-Stars, which included a variety of different Mario games. And this also came with a Super Mario Bros. History collection as well that showed off a lot of interesting details from the development of a variety of Mario games. And then things got even bigger with Mario's 30th anniversary. They released Mario Maker, and there was a lot of different events and merchandising. They started to go a lot bigger. And then for Mario's 35th anniversary, things became even more significant. There were even more events, even more merchandising. They had a dedicated Mario 35th anniversary direct, and a variety of different games came out, like Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Mario 99, Mario Kart Live Circuit, and more. There was so much that happened surrounding Mario's 35th anniversary. And so every 5 years, Nintendo has sort of upped the ante in terms of how they celebrated Mario's anniversary. And now that we're here in this year of 2025, the launch year for Nintendo Switch 2 is something Nintendo's been waiting an extra long time to do, start their next generation. It is coinciding with the big anniversary year for Mario, the 40 years. So we have this pattern of the anniversary events every 5 years getting bigger and bigger, and this one's coinciding with what may be one of the biggest, most important years in a very long time for Nintendo. But you might be wondering, okay, so maybe there is a history of Mario anniversary events happening, but why is this important for this year of 2025 where they are launching the Switch 2? Because these anniversary events are huge opportunities to have some incredible explosive sales. As Nintendo's outlined in various different investors meetings, they have this plan to expand the Nintendo IP. As you see here with this graphic, they want to take advantage of merchandising, mobile games, the theme park, and movies to reach out to a larger audience, get even more people acquainted or reminded of the Nintendo characters, the Nintendo series and IP, and bring them back to the console where they can enjoy and play more games. And during 2023, Nintendo actually highlighted during one of their investor meetings that the release of the Mario movie led to significant increases in sales across the board for their different Mario games. As you see here, there was a significant increase there. And this is extremely interesting because year by year, we are actually seeing a trend downwards in overall software sales. So with that in mind, it speaks even more highly for these positive impacts of the Mario movie that released in 2023. And what's also interesting about this, shortly after Nintendo put out all this info about how the Mario movie helped the sales for a variety of Mario games, Nintendo announced a whole bunch of more Mario Universe related games: Luigi's Mansion 2, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Wonder, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake. They went really hard on Mario towards the tail end of the Switch generation. And in part, this is likely to try and take further advantage of the increased Mario sales. Now you might say, well, there's no way they were able to make all these games immediately after they saw the success of these Mario games. No, of course not. However, Nintendo likely anticipated this years in advance. They've had this master plan. They've been doing these things where they build up to these significant releases. We've seen the Mario Lego sets, different merchandising, the Nintendo Universal Park, the release of the movie. All these different things are done as cross-promotion for each other because they know it would boost sales for each other. Nintendo's already very much aware of this potential benefit. We saw a significant increase in sales years ago with Pokemon Sun and Moon, the game that came out immediately after the release of Pokemon Go. So Nintendo's been operating with this strategy in mind for some time already. And so here we are in 2025, less than a year removed from the next big Mario movie, the follow-up to one of the most successful animated movies of all time. And we have already been seeing a decent amount of evidence for another build-up to this Mario movie. We are now seeing even more LEGO sets come out. There's a few Mario Kart LEGO sets coming out. There's a new one here for the Spiny Shell that was just announced. And later this year, we are for sure going to start getting some announcements on the actual Mario movie. Official details, like probably the actual announcement of the name of the Mario movie, probably the first trailer. As we approach the release next year, we're going to start to get a lot of those details this year. So that's going to factor into Mario's 40th anniversary. But it's going to be bigger than that. There will be a variety of games. And with the launch of the Switch 2, Nintendo will likely want to put out a variety of Mario Universe games that will see increased success because of this big build-up towards this epic release of the sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Which brings me to Mario Kart World. All of a sudden, Mario Kart World becomes an even more interesting choice as a launch title for the Switch 2, with this knowledge of what may be the official title for the next Mario movie, Super Mario World. The use of world, there may be a pretty big connection here. Mario Kart World is exploring an expansive world of Mario Kart where you get to see a lot more of the Mushroom Kingdom. As of March 31st, 2025, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is by far the best-selling title on Nintendo Switch 2 at over 68 million copies sold. And what's interesting, when we check out the best-selling games for Wii U, Mario Kart 8, the original release for Mario Kart 8, was also by far the best-selling title. Mario Kart has become the strongest seller for Nintendo, and so to open up the Switch 2 generation with Mario Kart World, from a business perspective, makes a lot of sense. But also by putting out this game, having Mario Kart World, with the knowledge that they may have a movie coming out less than a year later that will also be using World in the title, there may be a big plan for some cross-promotion here. Mario Kart World is going to reach a large audience and acquaint people to the vast, interesting world of the expanded Mushroom Kingdom, and so may the Super Mario World movie. Like in the past, there's likely going to be some cross-promotion here, but this game and this movie may have an even stronger connection based off this whole hook on this exploration of this vast world. But with this idea of the Super Mario World movie, how there may be more of a focus on exploring this expanded universe of the Mario world, in this lead up, Nintendo may also be thinking about putting out other significant titles that are based off the expanded Mario universe. And we have another, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which will be releasing just 2 months removed from the opening of the Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World in this month of May. And I don't think any of this is a coincidence. In the lead up to the Mario movie that came out in 2023, one of the things that Miyamoto showed off was the new design for Donkey Kong. This was a big focus that they talked about, this new design for Donkey Kong, and we've since seen this become the new standard for Donkey Kong. The design of Donkey Kong has been changed in all the different Switch icons. It's been changed in Mario Kart World, and we're seeing this new design in Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. This is a new era for Donkey Kong here. This park, the movie from 2023, this game, are all meant to cross-promote each other, and surely Donkey Kong is going to be playing a significant role with the next movie to come out next year as well. This is also going to be part of the big cross-promotion. So it's extremely interesting that Nintendo is choosing Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza to open the Switch 2 generation, June, then July with these releases, and there's all these different things happening surrounding these games. The LEGO sets, the park, the movies. It's a lot of different cross-promotion that's going on here. But I don't think this is it. I think there will absolutely be more. And so if you've been sticking around with me over the last few weeks, you've probably heard me mention at least a few times already of another surprise title to come out in this year of 2025. And at this point, I do not think it is 3D Mario, but I will be speaking on that. I don't think it's far off. However, I do think there's a strong chance Nintendo's going to put out at least one more big Switch 2 exclusive from them for this year for around the holiday period, and I think it might just be Luigi's Mansion 4. Assuming 3D Mario is not going to be coming out for this holiday, given that we have another big platformer in Donkey Kong Bonanza in July, they may want to have something a little bit different that's also a potential big seller that may also play a part into this whole sort of cross-promotion lead up to the big Mario movie. And Luigi's Mansion 3 is also one of the better selling games on Nintendo Switch, and the developer of Luigi's Mansion 3, Next Level Games, is due to put out another game in 2025. They put out a game every 3 years. And recently we talked about how just a few months ago we saw Next Level Games started advertising for hiring for a new project. And this is interesting because it may imply that whatever project they've been working on recently is wrapping up, which would be just in time for their typical pattern of release every 3 years. This year of 2025, it might just be Luigi's Mansion 4. And so we know, of course, in Mario Kart World, they have a big section on the whole spooky element motif, which there always is. And in the first Mario movie, they did do a little bit of Luigi running into a scary area, but in the next movie, there may be more of an emphasis on an exploration of a Luigi's Mansion style setting. So putting out a big Luigi's Mansion 4 game in lead up to this movie could be another way to have some significant cross promotion here. And what I find increasingly interesting about what may be going on here, if we consider this possibility, the combination of Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Luigi's Mansion 4, all these titles, which will absolutely benefit with the Mario movie and vice versa, they're very different from each other, and I think they're all going to play a key role here. But of course, there is one other series that is clearly missing that is probably the most important when it comes to celebrating the history of Mario, and that is the next mainline Mario game. Many people are asking, where is 3D Mario? Is it extremely far out because we're getting Donkey Kong Bonanza, which seemingly is being made by the 3D Mario team, because a lot of the gameplay and the UI elements definitely look like a follow-up to Super Mario Odyssey. And while that may be the case, simply considering history, there was always a mainline Mario game early on for every single Nintendo generation. Maybe it won't be available in the very first holiday, but by that second holiday, it's gotta be there. We have never gone past 2 holidays where there wasn't a mainline Mario title for any of Nintendo's generations. So to expect there to not be any sort of 3D Mario at the beginning of this generation would be a first, it would be unprecedented, and I don't think we should be expecting that. And I have also discussed in the past how there are a series of codename leaks we got last year from Midori that continued to get proven true, and one of them includes a project by the codename of SP Red. And if you understand how Nintendo does their codenames, Red always pertains to a mainline Mario game. Not a Mario Kart game, those have to do with turbo and boosting and things like that. Not a party game, not any sort of side project, a mainline Mario title. So it's very likely this codename has to do with the next mainline Mario. And based off all the other codename projects that have been coming out that have all seemingly been proven true, they don't seem to be that far off. I also really doubt that the 3D Mario team, since 2017 when they released Mario Odyssey in October of that year, they've only been able to finish one game in Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think most likely over this entire generation of Switch 1, they have probably been working on Donkey Kong Bonanza and 3D Mario for a significant amount of time. There's no way the 3D Mario team was only able to put out one game after more than 7.5 years. There's gonna be another, we just might have to wait a little bit more. And this little bit more may not even be that far off. Potentially have to wait all the way until holiday of 2026, but I wouldn't be surprised if this Mario game is teased this September as part of Mario's 40th anniversary. When it comes out, maybe it comes out early next year to close the fiscal year. Nintendo usually likes to have big sellers to close the fiscal year, and given this would be the first fiscal year of Nintendo Switch 2, it makes more sense than ever to have a big game coming out during that period of time, which also conveniently is a month before the release of the Mario movie. And I would not be surprised if in this next 3D Mario game that's being made for the Switch 2, so likely with the technology to Switch 2, they can go even more bigger, even more ambitious with a more increased scope. They may want to bring back Yoshi as a tool or a mount to help us explore more of an expanded 3D Mario adventure, which would be really good timing if they are going forward with this idea of Super Mario World, and Yoshi is going to be playing a significant role. And even if this leak of the Super Mario World title is somehow not the actual final title, we still know that Yoshi is going to be playing a significant role in this movie because they literally tease it to us at the end of the first movie. And so Nintendo may have this genius plan to really build up a lot of momentum here with these different expanded Mario Universe games leading up to the Mario movie, to really have some significant sales across the board here for the movie and the games, and also sales of their new next generation console, the Nintendo Switch 2. We have all these different LEGO sets, we have this opening of the Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World, then Mario Kart World launching with Switch 2 in June, then Donkey Kong Bonanza in July. I'm theorizing a Luigi's Mansion 4 maybe October of this year. In September, maybe they actually start making some official announcements regarding Mario's 40th anniversary. Perhaps in October we see the release of Luigi's Mansion 4, although I would assume that would be announced sooner into the year, perhaps in a June Direct. But during the September period, they may tease the next big Mario game, whenever it comes out, be it early next year or late next year. But for sure, throughout this year, they will start marketing and advertising the next Mario movie that's coming out next April, and this is just going to lead to a lot of success for Nintendo. So it looks like they have some really, really big plans here. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.